Good morning from day 4 on the Southern Upland Way, or just off it at least. Still here at the Galloway Forest Holiday Park with all its charms. And I'm all packed up, ready to roll. Getting my kit figured out after 4 days. It's right now in the high 60s, but it's supposed to get up into the high 70s today, the warmest day so far by a lot. And maybe a muggy high 70s. So the weather should be a little bit warmish. Good news is I have a visitor center with a cafe to visit in about 5 or 6 miles, about halfway through the day. So I'm going to stop there and take a long, luxurious lunch, drinking and eating all the things, and then head on with my second half of the day after that. Not getting started till like 9. I mean, when you're in a campsite and you can like wash your dishes and fill up your water, you can take a leisurely pace. Also, today's supposed to be only about 12 miles, but every time I say that, I'm wrong. It's probably going to be 14 miles, just like every other damn day. So let's get this thing started. Well, I'm reversing the decision I made yesterday. From this campsite, if I'm going to the visitor center, the fastest way is to get on a trail that's just in the woods there, and it follows the road pretty much all the way to the visitor center. And it fits in nicely with the diversion later where I have to go to the north side of Galloway. However, now I'm feeling guilty, especially having heard descriptions of the trail I'm missing. The true part of the Southern Upland Way up here is supposed to be quite nice, according to the guidebook and other accounts I've heard. So after yesterday, where I was on trails where I'm cursing them and criticizing them and everything, when they're offering me a piece of genuine true trail, I need to take that. So it's going to be longer, it's going to be slower, it will most likely be harder, but it's going to be a good scenic trail through a forest, not some mud-bombed piece of crap through a cow field. So I have 7/10 of a mile down this way to get back to the bridge and pick up the Southern Upland Way. And from there, I think it's, like I said, I think it's about 6 to the visitor center. But it's in forested areas like this and along rivers, so should be quite pretty. Okay, here we go, back on the official Southern Upland Way. Whoa, tippy. Yeah, I could work with this. I will agree, this is a lovely route. The trail is a bit of a glorified goat path, considering it's a national trail. But it is lovely surroundings. Alright, I just came from over there, and when I got to this T intersection, there was no clear sign of which way to go. But here, for some reason hidden in the willows, is the indication that I'm supposed to go this way. I could also tell that by looking at my map, but that could have been a bit more obvious. Okay, the path has now left the River Cree and turned up the water of Minnoch, which is another lovely stream that looks like it might be fun to boat, at least this part. The trail is improved as well. Less of a goat path, more of a purposely constructed thing. And I will agree, scenery-wise, this is a nice section of trail and a nice antidote to much of what I experienced yesterday and the day before. big steps. At the confluence here between the water of Menach on that side and water of Trool coming in from there, which you can't really see. Pretty soon I'm going to be coming to a footbridge. I'm going to cross that and head up the water of Menach a little bit to get to that visitor center and have a midday break. Okay, I've made it to lunchtime at Glentrool Visitor Centre, which is a charming little spot. Lots of nicely maintained trails here in a big parking lot, and a beautiful river. I'm having a tuna milk toasty, and I also have a couple of cold beverages and some ice cream. So I'm just pigging out, and there may be more after this. So I'm going to take a nice long break. Okay, that was lovely, but it's time to get back to the Southern Upland Way and have a nice, easy trail that leads me there. That is one of the nicer trail stops I have ever taken as a hiker, without exaggeration. It was peaceful, it was pretty, it was close to the trail, and you can see what I'm walking on, so it was very easy to get here. Maybe a mile off trail. And right in the middle of the day. And it was better than I could have hoped for in terms of what the cafe had to offer. All sorts of sandwiches. Baguettes, regular sandwiches, toasties. You could get it with soup if you wanted. They had ice cream. They had cold drinks. Yeah. So that was extremely enjoyable. My belly is full of good things. I topped off my water, and now I have some indeterminate distance to White Laggan Bothy, which I'm going to guess is about 6 miles, maybe 7, maybe 8. I'm not terribly sure. I've been kind of ballpark close on these things, but the different sources seem to report pretty different amounts. But something like that. In any case, it's something I'll be done with in, probably 3 hours. Assuming no really terrible slow parts of trail. And then I arrive at the Bothy and figure out if I want to be inside or if I want to camp and all that stuff. It should have a relaxing afternoon. So for now, let's get back to the Southern Upland Way and keep heading up Glentrool. Okay, I made it back to the Southern Upland Way route from that footbridge for my lovely little diversion. And here's what the rest of my day looks like. I'm going to follow this along the water of Trool up to Loch Trool. But there's a diversion. The normal trail goes around the south side of the loch, and there's some forestry work going on in there. So if you have to head around the north side of the loch. And it doesn't really add too much mileage, and it's actually going to be easier because it will be on a track. So hiking similar to this, pretty easy and straightforward. At the end of the loch, the ways reunite, and I continue following a track, which is a popular mountain biking route, up to a pass between this glen and the one on the other side, which I think is Glen D. In any case, Loch D is right over there. And then not far over that pass, maybe a mile and a half, is the turnoff to White Laggan Bothy. So navigationally, it's going to be easy. I don't think there's anything too steep or crazy. And a lot of it is going to be easy hiking on tracks, or at least straightforward hiking on tracks. It is warm. I would say upper 70s. I have enough water, and I'm going to attempt not to push myself too hard because of the temperature and the humidity. And I've got earpods in to kind of give me a little morale boost and distraction. My brain likes to be distracted when it's doing hard things. So, onward. Okay, I've reached the place where the diversion happens. Normally the route would go that way. What's odd is the sign for the diversion is facing the wrong way. People aren't coming from that direction. So whoever put this sign in, put it in backwards. But this is the diversion that would get me around Glentrool. Okay, I finished the trail part of the diversion. Now I'm on the road that traverses the north side of Lake Trool, and the routes will hook up at the north end of the lake. Next stop, Bruce's Stone. There's a private lodge residence below the trail here. Because it's private land, it has got some truly huge trees on it. Pines and spruce and fir. Wow, some of the biggest I've seen in Scotland. That's what happens when you have private land. The forestry can't get to it. Yep, it's pretty hot. So making my way down the road a little bit at a time. Okay, looks like that's the pass I'm going to be going over. So I just have to head back down to the head of the lake because I'm kind of up in a high place right now, right by Bruce's Stone. And you can see the lake down there, but there haven't been any good views of it yet. So onward, I got something else interesting. In addition to getting to the head of the lake pretty soon, is that I've seen a couple of signs for something called the Wriggly Tin Cafe. Sounds like a fishing term, like with worms maybe. But I wasn't expecting anything like that up here. So who knows what that is, if it's open, if it even exists. But it's interesting, and it's about a mile away. So if there is, in fact, a place there, I think I'm going to stop again, because even though the second half of the day is only about 7 or 8 miles, it's hot, y'all, and the climbs have been slow. So I believe that, cafe or no, I will be taking a second break at some point. What a place to camp this would be. Holy hell. So it seemed to be at the point where the lake is done. So I'm not sure if that was the inlet or if that's a side stream. But we're pretty much at the head of the lake. So this is the start where pretty soon the climb will begin, but I'm going to take a rest before that happens. Maybe at a cafe. So the Wriggling Tin Cafe did in fact exist. I got a Coke and another ice cream, and I was surprised to see it there. It's a really new operation. It opened 8 weeks ago. They've got a cafe, an honesty hut for when the cafe is closed, and they said that they're going to do lodging as well. I don't know for campers or for anybody, but it's pretty exciting. I'm going to go this way, not that way. That way is supposed to be more like a trail, but I'm ready to just following a track at this point in the day. That's the way that was closed around the south side of the lake. This is where I'm going, up this track. So, let's see what this looks like. And we'll see if that break was enough. It's clouded over, so the direct sun has gotten a little easier, but it's pretty rough. Just gonna take it slow. Good news in terms of elevation gain is that the pass is not that. The pass is straight ahead and then around the corner, so it doesn't have to go up that much. It's still uphill, it's still hot, but it's a pretty well-graded climb with periodic spots of shade. Yeah, Loch D. Reached the top of the pass. Now a short descent, traverse down to White Laggan, Bothy. Just passed a biker coming the other way, pushing his bike, and he was just absolutely knackered. He said that he'd had leg muscles cramping up and everything. This heat is something that people in the British Isles are not used to, especially when you're doing outdoor activities. Normal would be like 65. And good news is, starting Friday, it's going to be like that, but there's still 2 more days of warm temperatures. And that's got me a little worried about what the next 2 days look like. I mean, absolute worst case scenario, I get to the town of Galloway tomorrow, which is, I think, 14 miles away from my Bothy, and I just stop there for the night and try to find a bus or something to the next town and hop ahead a little bit to miss the heat. Yeah, it's no joke. And since I have to go the miles I have to go, the heat's making it hard to do that. So we'll see how this turns out. But in any case, my final destination for the day is not far. And I have shade. Okay, I've made it to today's destination. I've been here for a while, but I was doing chores and napping and didn't take an introductory video yet. Way out there is Loch D, the first big lake on this side of the pass. Looks like down there they're doing some bridge construction, so I may have to walk across the creek instead of have a nice bridge tomorrow. Down here, got some kind of weird stone chair thing going on so you can lay back and look at the stars. I don't know. But in my immediate surroundings, here is White Laggan Bothy. So let me give you a little bit of a tour. Right now I'm the only one here. One other guy came by, but he was bagging peak, so he just came by to check maps and then took off. Not sure if I'll have company or not. Got my stinky sweat-soaked clothes trying out over there. Got a nice creek right there for water, and it's clear water, actually. Not sure why, but it is. Here we go inside. The White Laggan Bothy. First room. Probably room for 3. Sleeping deck wise. Got table, got some brooms. Don't know what's up with the spruce thing, maybe just to make the room smell nice. Hooks, a line to dry stuff on. Second room, fireplace table, another sleeping bench, maybe 2, a sitting bench, a kitchen area with various stuff things that people have left behind, including some water. So I might grab that instead of filtering more. And there's 3 Thatcher's Blood Orange ciders that have not been opened. I'll have to think about that. It won't be terribly cold, that's for sure. It is quite cool in here. It's like being in somebody's basement. So compared to outside, it's nice and comfortable in here. So yeah, this is home. Haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to set it up, but I'm just getting done the things that I need to get done. Even though it's pretty early by normal standards, 8:20, the sun has gone over the ridge here, which is a blessed relief. And I'm going to go to bed pretty soon. I'm out here because standing on this rock in this particular place is the only place I can get any kind of signal whatsoever. So I'm just checking a few things out. But it is a beautiful place, but the more time I spend in Scotland, the more I realize that it's a place to be respected. Whether it's rain or heat or midges or whatever it is, this place does not screw around. That's where I'm headed tomorrow, around that ridge. And then I'm going to follow a track for a while, follow a trail for a while, more track, more trail. I'm going to leave really early to try to take advantage of the cool weather at the start of the day, because I don't want a repeat of today. This afternoon was pretty miserable. And then figure out how I'm going to negotiate the next day, which is supposed to be 17 miles and the hottest day of the 3. And I have to figure out a way to make that work. I'm also getting low in charge on my stuff. My power bank is at 1 light, and I just charged my phone, so it's got enough to get to tomorrow, but I'm going to have to stay in Galloway, the next town, at the end of tomorrow, to long enough to do some serious charging. So that may influence my choice as well. It's never boring. It is beautiful though.